The Raptors have higher ambitions at this point in the season. Being the 5th seed, now the expectation is to make the playoffs. Where it was before kind of like, let's hope we can get into the playoffs. Now it's like we should make the playoffs from here, and we should remain as a top 6 seed. But it's not going to be easy to do that. And they are going to be able to achieve that, finish the top 6 seed, get into the playoffs outright, not have to worry about the play-in tournament. Which player is going to be the most pivotal for this team in the final third of the season? And I think this question is less fun when you use the obvious answer. The obvious answer is the most important player is Scottie Barnes. He's been the most important player this season. They've dealt with injuries. They've dealt with some key injuries. And who has been the consistent force that has continued to drive this team forward through the season? It's been Scottie Barnes. He's been excellent. It's been by far his best season as an NBA professional. He is an all-star once again for the second time in his career. But for the first time in his career, he is a very large threat for other awards like Defensive Player of the Year. He is definitely in the mix. I would say he is 4th in my rankings for Defensive Player of the Year behind Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, Rudy Gobert. That's some elite company as far as defensive capabilities are concerned. I think he's pretty much a shoo-in at this point to make an all-defense team. And I think there should be some very, very strong considerations for him to be in an all-NBA team. That's your most important player. That is the best player, the cornerstone, the franchise piece. But could there be somebody else who rises up in importance for this team in this remainder season? If the Raptors are going to achieve what they want to achieve in the regular season, and also, to be honest, if they want to get through that potential first-round playoff series, who actually could become the most important player is Jakob Poeltl. And this, I've kind of said it for a couple of years now. This is like the most important piece because as good as some of these other guys like Scottie Barnes are, we're a lot more capable of getting output in those positions. What we don't have on this team is size and rim protection and rebounding, at least a lot of it. Jakob Poeltl does all these things to a very high degree when he is healthy. And if you can get, I don't know if Jakob Poeltl's going to be healthy. Man, the back is scary. The back is scaring me for sure. But if you can find close to healthy Jakob Poeltl for the rest of the season, I think all of a sudden that could be your crucial piece, your critical member of the team. Because let's look at some of the previous seasons with Jakob Poeltl. So, this season, yeah, the most important player, it's been Scottie Barnes. Like, if we're going to make this a boring answer, it's been Scottie Barnes. Net rating with him on the floor is 3.41. Net rating with him off the floor is minus 2.69. Like, how many games do we see where the Raptors just, like, they are so much better when Scottie Barnes on the floor? And this season for Poeltl, it's been rough. Not the stats that we're used to seeing for the player. When he's on the floor, they have a net rating of minus 0.85. When he's off the floor, they have a net rating of 2.23. Now, he has missed a lot of games this season. He just came back from injury in the game against the Pistons. But it's been a rough season when he has played. Minutes are down a little bit because of his health. Points are down a little bit because of his touches. Because we have Brandon Ingram now. There's more mouths to feed on the team. But also because he's kind of struggled. And we've felt the struggles much, much more on the defensive side of the floor, where he's been quite awful, quite honestly, this season. He's only played in 22 games of the 55 so far, so he hasn't even played in half the games. And when he has played, wow, some of them have looked bad. Some of them have been to the point. And I get he hasn't been healthy, and the back is really tough to deal with. But some of the games he has been pretty close to unplayable, and like you have to get him on the floor, off the floor. And like I said, this is very, very different to what we have seen in previous seasons for the player. Previous seasons, it's been he's like the most important guy for like a plus minus play. Like, this is a guy your team crumbles when he is not on the floor, and that's been the case for I honestly I think it's been like a couple of seasons now. As I'm gonna pull up the statistics from it. Here's Jakob Poeltl from 24-25, And look at the difference here. This was a tanking team for sure, but my goodness, when Jakob Poeltl's on the floor, they had a net rating of minus 0.41. When he's off the floor, it was minus 7. They were way better with Poeltl on the floor. And as long as the stats load here, I want to look at it from the season before. Okay, it's not working. But the stats, even from the season before, let's see if we can get it to work here, I imagine are reminiscent of this as well. Let me see if we can get the numbers here from 22. Yes. Wow. Season before, with Jakob Poeltl on the floor, they had a net rating of 8. With him off the floor, way more sample size, to be fair. 700 minutes compared to 3,200 minutes. With him off the floor for 3,200 minutes, they had a net rating of just under 0. Coming into this season, since the Raptors reacquired Poeltl from the Spurs, their win percentage with him was over 40%. Without him, it was just over 20%. So I find it truly, incredible that the Raptors have accomplished what they've accomplished this season. 5th seed at the All-Star break, 9 games above 500, 32-23, and they've been able to do this with Poeltl missing more than half the games, and in the games he has played, he hasn't been playing well, and he hasn't been healthy. All I can kind of think here is, oh my God, what if he was healthy? What if he was healthy playing like Jakob Poeltl was supposed to play? Whatever you want to say about his contract, if the Raptors should have traded him, he didn't get traded. He's here. He's here for the rest of the season at least. Let's see what we can get out of him the rest of the way. And consider what we've achieved this season without him. And again, just imagine what we can do with him. Because I think what gets mistaken a lot is how good Poeltl has been for the team in the last 2 years. And I've gone through, the numbers there, the net ratings, the win percentages with and without him. And just from watching him, he does a significant job for this team that just other players can't do because there's just nobody else filling that role as a true traditional center backup rim protector. Fantastic anchor for the defense and on offense. I mean, some of the Quickly struggles even this season could be equated to Poeltl not being there as much because the pick and roll game between the two is great and that makes Quickly's job easier. The screen setting Poeltl possesses is fantastic. That leaves some more space as well for the likes of Immanuel Quickley. And I'm not saying Immanuel Quickley hasn't struggled this season, but maybe it would have been easier for him not to struggle if he was playing with Jakob Poeltl a little bit more. So, as much as he's not a floor spacer in terms of shooting on offense, his screen setting is big. His passing out of the high post is big and can free up opportunities. He does a lot of other crucial aspects of the game that other centers like Miles Turner can shoot threes, sure, but there's so many other critical aspects that he's lacking in that position that Jakob Poeltl possesses. So I think, the most important player for the team is Scottie Barnes. But the X factor that could change the team the most the rest of the way, certainly for me, has to be Jakob Poeltl. Please, I hope he's healthy. What a change the team it would be if he was. Gives them a way better shot of being a top 6 seed, but way better shot of winning a playoff series as well.